Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reaction Reviews. This is Kevin. We got a new video for you today. Ryan Reynolds just dropped the new trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is what they're calling it. In effect, this is going to be Wolverine 3, the third, Deadpool 3, the third movie in the Deadpool series. This is kind of a Marvel crossover. It's not exactly MCU. It's a little bit different. I know I saw the first Wolverine movie, or I keep saying Wolverine. I saw the first Deadpool movie, and I think I saw the second one, but I can't remember specifics about it. All I remember about the Deadpool movies is that they were extremely, inappropriate. I guess would be the best phrase, best term to use. Extremely inappropriate constantly throughout. It's definitely rated R. I assume this one will be too, just like the others were, or possibly even unrated. It's not your typical MCU fare. I don't even know if it's set in the same universe. With MCU, they established the multiverse, which is something that was originally established in the comic books. But there's different versions of the superheroes, different versions of characters, complete planets and universes that are separate from other ones. So you have stories about one Superman, for example, or Batman, whatever the case may be. And so, like if somebody were to, say for example, the Batman series. You've got the original Batman with George Reeves. No, that's Superman, did George Reeves. And then in the late 70s and the 80s, you had Christopher Reeve as Superman. This would establish those as two separate characters, two separate Supermans and two separate universes. So whenever you have a recasting, and then, of course, you got your Henry Cavill, Cavill. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Cavill. As the current Superman in the MCU that's coming out, or that's actually DCU. I'm crossing over. I'm crossing over universes here within universes. But anyway, you get the idea. Whenever they do a recasting or something, that always bothered me. Whenever there were inconsistencies between one episode, you might as well say, and then a sequel that comes along later and there's inconsistencies there. In my mind, this helps explain those inconsistencies. Like you've got the Tim Burton Batman from the 80s and the 90s that started out with Michael Keaton, then you had your recasting, and then you had your Joker that was killed, and then all of a sudden you've got him coming back played by a different actor, and it's a completely different character. Now you've got the Joker movie coming out, part 2, which is another completely new vision of the Joker. It helps me, in my mind, to set those concerns at ease about the inconsistencies, understanding that these are completely different universes, different characters on different planets, just different versions of the same characters. And so Deadpool, I'm not sure if theoretically this is technically in the same universe as our ongoing MCU series. And especially since it's so vulgar, constant swearing, constant sexual references and stuff that's just over the top, absolutely not for teenagers or kids at all. In fact, a lot of adults would be uncomfortable watching those. I remember some of the dialogue and references they had in the Deadpool movies made me uncomfortable as an adult watching it. So anyway, Ryan Reynolds is the actor that plays Deadpool, and he just dropped today the new trailer for that, so I'm going to react to that. And they're calling it Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course, Wolverine has the major cameo in this, and apparently it's a huge cameo to the effect that it's kind of like a Superman versus Batman sort of thing, where you had the two characters share the title role. They're doing that here with Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know if they're going to be allies, if they're going to be adversaries. I guess maybe we'll find out with the trailer, but we'll definitely find out in the movie. Speculation on my part, I would say maybe they start out as adversaries and end up becoming allies, just like you had with Superman and Batman. And also on the MCU side, you had the same time Superman and Batman came out, they had their version, which was Marvel Civil War, which was Iron Man versus Captain America, and they each had their team members that backed them up. So you've got heroes fighting heroes. Here you've got anti-hero fighting anti-hero, because they're not exactly villains, they're not exactly heroes. They're kind of like the darker side of Batman, even darker than Batman. We used to consider, my generation, younger, read comics, Batman was the Dark Knight, and they called him that because he didn't follow the rules. He was not exactly your typical hero. He wasn't a villain, but he didn't play by the rules, so they call that an anti-hero. That's pretty much what Deadpool is. He's the ultimate anti-hero. Deadpool and Wolverine, they've got similar powers. As far as the healing thing, at least in the comic books. They've got that healing factor to where, you stab them with a knife that anybody else, any other hero even, would kill them. You shoot them in the head, sort of thing, and they come back from it because they got that healing factor. And I'm sure there's limits to that, but that's an interesting pairing, that you've got these two anti-heroes almost that have similar powers. So just for that reason, I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out. I think it's a good pairing. But here in the description, where Ryan Reynolds dropped this on YouTube, the only thing it says is, found the guy who killed Bambi's mom. That's the kind of humor that I would expect from Ryan Reynolds. Found the guy who killed Bambi's mom. I don't know if that's referring to Deadpool or Wolverine. Honestly, it could be either one. But those of us that grew up, watching the old style Disney cartoons, that was a traumatic thing for a lot of kids, is seeing Bambi's mom get killed in the movie. I hope that's not a spoiler alert for anybody, because it's like the defining thing of that. And the movie is decades old, so I'm sorry if it's a spoiler alert for you guys, but if you haven't seen it by now, go watch it anyway. Old Disney movie back before Walt died and before Disney took a turn. But anyway, let's go ahead and check this out. Once again, I'm watching this on a separate device. I'm not watching it on screen here, so you're not going to see the video on here. If you want to see the video yourself, go down to the description below, and there will be a link there to the original video, to where Ryan Reynolds dropped this trailer, and you can watch it there. But in order to avoid a possible copyright strike, as I was having earlier when I was doing these videos, I'm not going to put it on the screen. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to watch it here off screen, and then you can hear it, but you can't see it on the screen. The Deadpool and Wolverine trailer dropped by Ryan Reynolds. Let's check it out.
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the f*** out of my bar. Just give me one more drink and then I'll leave.
Okay, Wolverine in a bar.
Peanut, I'm gonna need you to come with me right now. Look, lady, I'm not interested.
Look, lady.
All right, well, I'm sort of on the tick-tick, so upsy daisy. Here we go. Oh, whiskey dick of the claws. It's quite common in Wolverines over 40. You don't want this. Unless you want to take a deep breath.
Little ED reference there.
I suggest you reconsider.
Yeah, it's going to have a lot of adult humor in this. Oh, the old-fashioned costume. I like that.
Lose everything that I've ever cared about. Not my fucking problem. Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
I'm going to have to come back and edit out this profanity. Oh, that had to hurt.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third act flashback?
I really like the makeup they do on his face. This July. Okay, so it's coming out just in a couple of months.
I don't know anything about saving worlds.
Okay, Madonna.
Do. Trust me, kid, I'm no hero. You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
the X-Man.
I am soaking wet right now.
That really didn't make sense. Okay, so you are going to see them sparring. So that's good.
This is what I'm talking about. Big slow motion action sequence.
Okay, so he's still breaking the fourth wall.
Let's fucking go.
Oh,
Let's fucking go.
let's see. That's what I mean about the profanity. I mean, it fits the character. Deadpool Wolverine from Marvel Studios.
Cocaine. Hey, cocaine is the one thing that I can
Drug references, of course.
What about Bolivian marching band? We know all the slang terms. They have a list. Even snowboarding? Even disco dust. White girl interrupted. Even force pump. Do you want to build a snowman? Yes.
Do you want to build a snowman? Reference to the Disney cartoon, not Tangled.
Morning, y'all. Today they released the trailer for Deadpool Wolverine.
Well, I gotta turn this off.
Reacted to the teaser
I hit
trailer.
stop, but it.
There was not
There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and edit. Before I post this, I'm going to edit out the profanity for my younger audiences that might be watching this. Yeah, I like to keep my channel fairly family friendly. But anyway, yeah, he's still breaking the fourth wall. I like that about his character. The profanity, by the way, it fits his character. That's who he is. And so it makes sense that he's swearing a lot. We've all had people in our families that do that, that swear constantly. And for people that don't swear or curse on a regular basis or don't do it as often as that, sometimes it can be sort of a cringe sort of thing. And that's how I feel kind of watching this video, is the constant, like 5 or 6 different times just in that one trailer they dropped the F-bomb, and then the S word, and of course I'm cleaning this up for my younger audience. I'm going to be editing out the audio from the trailer itself in post-production before I post this. But anyway, yeah, just the constant swearing and cursing kind of made me cringe. I remember when I was watching the Deadpool movies, and so that makes me a little bit apprehensive about watching this. This is reality. This is the way people talk. So, when I go see an R-rated movie, I expect maybe 1 or 2, curse words in the movie, but something like this to where it's constant, that's going to be a hard R rating for this. Absolutely. So definitely you don't want to take your kids to see this in the theater. It's not your typical Marvel movie. That being said, it's normal for his character, so I understand why they're doing it. But then again, that makes this movie specifically for a niche audience and not for your typical comic book superhero type of fan, especially children and teens that would want to go see a movie that features superheroes and sort of stuff. But let's see. I do like the pairing of him and Wolverine. I like both actors. Ryan Reynolds, I've seen him in a lot of stuff. Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. He was the original Wolverine in the movies that Sony put out in the, I guess would have been the 90s when they started the series. And so maybe it's a crossover with the Sony universe. We've been seeing how the multiverse is, with Loki and his adventures. If you watch the Loki series, his adventures with the multiverse and how, they kind of come together in the storyline, and there's the trying to separate them again and get them to to save the multiverse, save the different ones that they're erasing in order to just have one timeline. And so if you get a chance to watch the Loki series, I think you might enjoy that, because it helps to explain the whole multiverse theory and how that works. But we saw that also in some of the other movies, like Spider-Man, The last one, what was it? Homecoming, I think. They had the home titles, and they kind of run together for me to figure out which one's which. Let's see, there was Homecoming, No Way Home, I think might have been the last one. I'm not sure. But anyway, in one of them, there was that crossover with the characters from the Sony universes, the 3 different Spider-Man. And that was cool. The way they pulled that off was amazing. And then you saw in the bonus footage the trailer, the post-credits sequence, where they hinted about, some of those characters coming over into this universe. I won't spoil it for you in case you haven't seen those yet. Go back and watch those, the MCU movies. But anyway, they're establishing that some of these characters from the other universes that we've seen in maybe the 90s versions, like, for example, the X-Men, would come over into the MCU. And so we may see this as being an extension of these other universes that we're seeing in other movies going on at the same time. Maybe the Venom movie, maybe some of the Spider-Man movies, or some of the others that Sony's putting out, how they're crossing over with the MCU. So this may end up crossing over somehow too. But I don't think it's initially set in the same universe as our typical MCU that we're seeing in the movies today. But there was a kind of hint to that. When Deadpool went to Wolverine, he's saying, basically recruiting him to help save his universe. And he said something to the effect of, are you going to let this universe die just like you let your world die? And so that's kind of making me think that there's a multiverse sort of thing. These are 2 separate heroes from 2 separate universes within the multiverse. And Wolverine's died, his planet or whatever. He failed to save his, which may be the Sony universe that we saw with the other X-Men. And now Wolverine, this is the thing with breaking the fourth wall, talking to the camera, to the audience directly, understanding that he's inside a movie sort of thing. I first got into that back in I think it was like in the late 80s, early 90s, when John Byrne was doing his run of the She-Hulk, this is sensational She-Hulk comic book. And I absolutely love John Byrne, one of my favorite comic book artists. I love his writing style. I love his characters. He did a series called The Next Men that he wrote and penciled, and did all the work for it, and it was phenomenal. Very inventive, very creative. The Next Men, which was kind of a takeoff from the X-Men, because he originally drew some X-Men comics, and that's, I think, where he got his start. And so when he made his own comic book characters, superheroes, they were completely different from the X-Men, nothing like them. But, he used that name Next Men, I think, to kind of get, publicity, get the audience's attention. But that was really good. But John Byrne did a run on the sensational She-Hulk comic book series, and I kind of, when he stopped doing it and they had another artist take over, I thought the artwork was inferior, and so I kind of basically stopped reading it and just kind of read it occasionally. But when he established the character, that was one of his things that he did with her, is he had her breaking the fourth wall constantly. She would speak to the audience as if she understood and knew that she was a character inside a comic book. And that was a major point of that character. They carried that over into the She-Hulk TV series that the MCU put out recently. Disney and Marvel did together, and so I like that they carried that into it. I'll talk in some other video at some point about the She-Hulk series. I was disappointed with it in a lot of ways, but that was one of the things I did like about the She-Hulk Disney Plus series, is that it did stay true to the John Byrne version of She-Hulk being sort of a third wall character, where she realized that she was on the inside of the movie. She and Deadpool have that in common. They both break the fourth wall and talk to the audience. So I think that's kind of cool. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time talking about that, but I do like that they're doing that. But that, again, sets them apart almost from the rest of the MCU. She-Hulk was still in the MCU, as you had to cross over with the Hulk that made guest appearances in the series, and other characters that made appearances in the series. So This could easily cross over into the MCU, even though Deadpool does break the third wall constantly, or fourth wall. So, yeah, but the profanity, I'm definitely going. I don't go see anything in the theater anymore. With all the streaming services available, the price of tickets anymore, the price of the concessions just through the roof, and also after COVID, just the whole world got away from going to movie theaters. Everything's streaming now. Technology has changed, so I'm definitely not going to see it in the theater, because if for me to see something in the theater, it's got to be like a huge once in a lifetime sort of thing come out. Like back in the day, it would have been with the new Star Wars movie. Oh boy, don't get me started on that. But anyway, I would have definitely gone to the theater, 3D version, paid an arm and a leg plus concessions to see one of those, and I have. But anyway, I will probably see this at some point. I'm not going to rush to see it like I would most other superhero movies. Being a fan of the superhero movies, I will definitely see it at some point, but I'll probably wait till it's on a streaming service to where, I don't have to pay extra to see it, because I'm not overly excited about seeing it. I like the way the trailer looked good. The premise is good. I like the characters. I like the actors. I like the premise they set up as far as the two characters meeting, having this animosity between them and yet having to work together. It's good themes, and it could turn out to be a good movie. The humor in it, it's funny, but it's definitely going to be over the top at some points. A lot of sexual references, some of them probably woke sexual references in today's culture, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Just kind of cringe sort of thing at some of the humor, like the line he said, like, "I'm really wet right now." I mean, that don't even make biological sense. Is that like a nod to the woke movement about there's no such thing as a gender sort of thing? I don't know, but it just doesn't make any logical sense in any universe for him to say that, unless he's just saying it for the sheer humor of it, which I would expect from Deadpool. Say crazy stuff just for the shock value. And I'm sure that's what they're doing with this. That Wolverine, Deadpool versus Wolverine is going to be a movie that they capitalize on that type of humor and the offensive stuff just for the sake of the shock value. And they're hoping to draw in audiences that way. It's honestly having the opposite effect with me personally. It's pushing me away. Like I said, I will see it at some point because it is a superhero movie, and I go see them all, even the ones that I know are going to be horrible. At some point I will see them, but I am not rushing to the theater to see it. When it comes out on streaming, it's not going to be, I'm not going to be like, oh my goodness, it's here, I got to watch it now. But I will see it at some point. What do you guys think of the trailer? What are you guys expecting from the movie? Do you agree with my assessment, or do you have a completely different take on it? Either way, I'd like to hear your opinion. Go ahead and comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Most of all, the most important thing you can do is hit the subscribe button. The subscribe count matters. It helps my channel. And also, most importantly, if you enjoy this content, it lets you know whenever I drop something new. It comes up on your feed. And so we do live streams every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. where we do the food reviews and mukbangs. If that's your thing, head over there and watch those videos that are archived. And if you have to be online any Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, head on into the channel and you can chat with us live while we're doing the live stream and sharing some food through the TV screen with each other, a computer screen. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on Reaction Reviews. Have a great week. God bless. Bye.